Manhwa starts with a professor explaining something apparently ancient, showing how a bear that turned into a human manages to join a successful bear clan. Then there is the tiger that couldn't turn into human and join the defeated clan. He says that they take these stories that really happened and they call them myths. Then the class ends and we see Haejeon, our protagonist, sleeping in class. A girl called Yoon Seojin comes to ask why he is always sleeping in school. So Haejeon asks back saying why she is always bothering him at school. Yoon asks him if something happened to Haejeon. Haejeon says that he can't see well with one eye, but it's probably nothing. We see Haejeon getting out of school and telling us that suddenly one day he got the ability to other beings hiding as humans. And those beings make everything in their power to go unnoticed as normal humans. Later, some beings with the shape of a snake attacks Haejeon and they left him immobilized in the ground. And when Haejeon was about to die, he sees a tiger approaching. The tiger transforms into a human and say Haejeon to hold a bit longer. The tiger starts to fight against the snakes and manages to win. A week has passed since the fight against the snakes and Haejeon doesn't understand what happened. We see that the tiger is living with Haejeon in human form. Haejeon starts to think that this might be the tiger from the mythology they talked about at the beginning of the manga. But the tiger says that he doesn't even know what he is talking about. Suddenly the tiger notices that Haejeon wears a necklace. Haejeon says that his mother gave it to him. Then the tiger asks Haejeon to wear that necklace all the time since some horrible things are about to happen. In a change of scene we see Haejeon at school. Suddenly a new student is transferred. His name is Yeonhu. Our protagonist noticed that immediately that he is one of those estranged things. Yeonhu has troubles with some bullies in school at break. The bullies take him to a more separated place and when they start intimidating him, Yeonhu does something with one of the bullies. He possesses him and makes him cause havoc all over the place, throwing chairs and tables. Haejeon's friend notices it and start running to tell Haejeon what she saw. Just before Seojin could tell Haejeon what she saw, Yeonhu appears behind them, which prevents Seojin to open the mouth. All three of them are going home and Yeonhu wanted to go to Haejeon's house with him, but Seojin lies and say that Haejeon has things to do. Haejeon goes with the flow and says yes, so Haejeon goes to his home and they go separate ways. When Seojin was walking to her house, Yeonhu appears behind her. Yeonhu starts to insult her saying that who the fuck did she think she was. Then we see Seojin at the top of a building calling Haejeon to hurry because she is about to jump. We see three guys getting into the building alongside Haejeon. Those three guys were telling Yeonhu what the hell was he doing. That girl was not the one they were looking for. Haejeon tells Seojin to hold. Seojin says that she can't move because Yeonhu has control over her body. Yeonhu is angry because the three guys are paying attention to Haejeon and he decides to throw Seojin from the building to see if Haejeon could save her. Seojin falls into the ground and Yeonhu just laughs saying that Haejeon is pathetic. Haejeon, angry for what he did to Seojin, tries to punch him, but Yeonhu stops him, controlling his body. Yeonhu makes Haejeon to be immobilized. One of the three guys tells Yeonhu to stop, that he can't do that to that kid. So Yeonhu, tired of hearing what he should do, grabs one of the guys and kills him. Then Yeonhu takes control over Haejeon's body and start shocking him. But Haejeon's body reacts and starts to absorb Yeonhu's power. Haejeon manages to break the hypnosis and hits Yeonhu. Then as a revenge for what he did to Seojin, Haejeon keeps punching Yeonhu until he finally sends him out the building, killing him. After that we can see how Yeonhu's power starts to absorb Haejeon. Haejeon tries to run back out of it but it absorbs him anyways and he falls to the ground. When the tiger arrives and the other two guys recognizes him, the tiger watches the scene and see Haejeon lying on the floor. The tiger goes down and detains the two guys who wanted to flee. After threatening them for a few minutes, the guys tell the tiger that they work for the Nocturne Demon sect. We see a change of scene and we are in a party. We see a woman called Nuna along with many agents talking about the tiger and Haejeon. Nuna says that the tiger can break his seals but she doesn't know how. We see that there is an infiltrated with a VIP suit listening to the conversation. Until they find him, Nuna starts to fight him and he decides to fight back. The infiltrator evades the guards and gets out the street with Nuna to fight. Nuna tries to hit him but the infiltrator evades everything. The infiltrator counterattacks and Nuna finds out that he is a Ninetales fox. We change the scene and we see other agents in a car saying that there is someone in the Black Dragon Club. They ask their leader if they should get moving and the leader accepts. We see Haejeon dreaming with Seojin while he says NOOO, and then he wakes up suddenly. The tiger says that he must return to sleep. It is early. Haejeon says that he can see these beings since he was little and her mother said that he should not be afraid, that they are friends. The tiger is curious and asks where her mother is now. Haejeon says that she passed away and she gave him that necklace. Her mother told him to wear it all the time because it is a guardian spirit. Then out of nowhere the tiger says that he will have to visit her mother. We change scene and we see Nuna again fighting the Ninetales fox. They realize that there are people watching them, so the fox takes that advantage and escapes. escapes. Nuna go after him, and after various evasions she finally hits him. In that moment a woman arrives in a limousine and notices that they are both fighting. Nuna says that this is the second time she hit someone in the face and still keeps on his feet. Now we see that the Ninetails fox can fly and throws fire to Nuna. After a little chat, Nuna asks what he wants. The fox says he wants to ask some questions to her boss. And in that moment the agents from the limousine arrives and start threatening them and ask them to put their hand in the air. Nuna runs away and the agents realize that she is not human, but the fox says that he wants to know and he asks them to arrest him. We see a camera recording the interrogatory the agents will have with the Ninetails fox. Here it is revealed to us that this manga is set in the 1970s, because the fox has an ID saying that he was born in 1971 and the agent says it was impossible, that he was 1 year old, so they realize that the ID is false. After a few questions he stops answering and he shows to them that he is a Ninetails fox. And he says that not only humans live in this world. In a new scene we see someone again pretending to be a human, seeing how some bullies are going to abuse some child. The bullies see him and they start bothering him, so the being hits one of them and asks the others to go away. Now we are back with the agent interrogating the fox. The agent doubts that he really is a Ninetails fox, and the fox says that every creature they always thought were a myth had crossed dimensions to be in the earth. But he says that where and when, he didn't know, it was different, and each one of them lives among us. The agent reveals to the fox that they are investigating the demon sect, and they know that Du Jianghu, Nuna's name, is not human. The agents asked what would have happened if they shoot in that situation, so the fox answers that he would have caught the bullet, and he reveals her real name. The fox says that Nuna's real name is Shutterwalk. And now at the same time we see Shutterwalk entering a place and talking to someone who offers her a drink. We see Shutterwalk talking with what it seems to be her boss, and the boss says that the government is already involved in this. The boss says that she should pay a visit to a guy. He hands over a piece of paper. Shutterwalk leaves. Her boss starts talking to someone unknown on the second floor. The boss says that Shutterwalk is like his tank. Also, the booze reassures that someday Shutterwalk will meet the person who he is talking with. In a new scene we see the same mysterious being from the last chapter hitting more and more bullies. Then suddenly Shutterwalk arrives. The mysterious being tells Shutterwalk that they are from the same specie. Shutterwalk says to stop that she is there to talk business. 2 days goes on and we see the tiger alongside Haejeon. The tiger says that he should visit Haejeon's mother. Haejeon, confused, asks what he is talking about. The tiger explains that he was locked inside that necklace for 5,000 years, and the tiger needs to know what happened in those 5,000 years and also need to know how Haejeon ended up having that necklace. If not, the tiger says that it would be very difficult to love this world. Haejeon asks the tiger about those powers that appeared while he was fighting against Yomhu. Haejeon says that he doesn't know how to do that again. The tiger says that he doesn't know, but the tiger states that Haejeon is human, but not a common one. The tiger thinks that it has something to do with how that collar ended up with him. Haejeon now questions himself if he is now a stranger like the tiger. But the tiger thinks that is not what it is, because strangers recognizes each other. And as he says that, the tiger senses that something is wrong. He feels the presence of someone else in the train, and out of nowhere the same mysterious being who has hitting the bullies appear. The tiger tells Haejeon to get out the train fast. We see that the tiger tries to escape the train with Haejeon, but the mysterious being intercepts them and starts to fight. The tiger says if he is not ashamed for attacking the humans. So the mysterious being says not at all. In fact, that boy is his target. The scene changes and we see Shutterwalk relaxing. Then an agent arrives asking about who was the being they encountered the other day. So Shutterwalk asks if he have never read any Korean fairy tale. The agent says that at least he recognizes Hyungbu Nalbu. And Shutterwalk asks if he thinks he is an elf. The scene changes and we see the tiger again fighting against the being, which seems to be an elf. So after 2 strong hits, the tiger leaves him on the floor. The tiger starts to celebrate, saying that he is too cool. Haejeon tells him to be careful, and in that moment a train runs over the tiger. Haejeon stays alone on the tracks, and out of nowhere the elf appears and tells him to go together. Now we see a flashback where Shutterwalk is hiring an elf, asking him to bring Haejeon with her. The elf is surprised about what she is asking him. Shutterwalk explains that Haejeon is not important, but he is with someone very strong, so the boy is probably someone even stronger. We go back to the present and the elf is disappointed because Haejeon doesn't show any powers. So the elf hits him and asks if he isn't hiding his powers, but Haejeon is just trying to bite him, so the elf hits him again. We see the tiger going back into the tunnel looking for Haejeon, and the elf drags Haejeon across the floor. Haejeon, angry, questions the fact that everybody is attacking him. What did he do to deserve that? and suddenly Haejeon's eye shines and turns into purple. The elf, confused and in shock, watches without understanding what's going on. While the tiger is on his way, he senses an energy like from another stranger, and he realizes that it might be Haejeon. Haejeon is controlling the elf's body just like Youngwoo's powers, and out of nothing a train appears, and luckily the elf moves, managing to save his life. The tiger arrives and says to the elf, "How you dare to attack him?" In a change of scene, we see Shutterwalk with her boss arriving to what it seems to be a lab. The scientists call his booze Imugi, so that's his name. The scientist realizes that it is the first time he meets with Shutterwalk, so he introduces himself as Huatao. Shutterwalk is surprised because she never thought that Scientist Good would look like that. Huatao mentions that he extracted a blood sample from Haejeon and injected it to a test subject. He says that it is beyond his expectations. He asks them to take a look at the statistics in the test subject, the resistant, physical recovery, reaction time, etc. But he mentions that there is a problem. Before the subject absorbs something or gets these statistics, his body comes back to normal after 24 hours. Huatao says that all of this is very impressive. He has been investigating for more than 2,000 years and he never saw something like that. The subject awakes and shows a great hate for Imugi. The subject breaks the cell and decides to attack, so Shutterwalk intercepts him, hitting him first. Finally, Imugi ends up burning the test subject. Imugi says that indeed he is not a god, but he will challenge God. In a new scene, we see the tiger with Haejeon in a boat. Haejeon remembers the fight against the elf, asking why he stopped him. The tiger says that he is dangerous, and to be honest, he needs to come back home. Shutterwalk is informed that the elf has failed, and Imugi says that he will get after the tiger. In a new scene, we see Haejeon with the tiger arriving to Haejeon's birth city, the With Flowers Island. Haejeon gets into the island and realizes that it is pretty different compared to what he remembered when he was little. He finds his house and he realizes that it had been burned down. The tiger notices a tomb that says White Flower Goddess, and he asks Haejeon how his mother was. Haejeon says that she was a well-known and respected shaman even outside the island. But the strange thing is that he doesn't remember how she died. And when he tries to remember how she died, a strong headache comes. The tiger notices that there is someone following them, and out of nowhere a mysterious being gets behind his back and says that a man's back is everything. Haejeon remembers that being from the past who also said something about the back, and it seems that Haejeon was very close to him, and the tiger asks who he is. The mysterious being asks him to show his power. They start to fight, and after fighting for a bit, the mysterious being says to the tiger that he is pretty agile but lacks strength. So the tiger starts to scratch him once and again, and the mysterious being says that it only tickles him. The mysterious being falls to the floor, and out of nowhere he summons a giant totem. The mysterious being says that now they will be witnesses of who he was. Haejeon realizes that the name of this being is Totem Aujasi, and he senses that they've been together before and he knew his mother. Aujasi tells Haejeon that he missed him so much. Then they go to Aujasi's house and they see his mother's altar. Haejeon, talking to Aujasi, asks a favor to tell him how his mother died. Aujasi tells that one night a thunder fell into their house while a man was watching everything. Aujasi has a flashback where we see Haejeon's mother talking to Aujasi about someone who pretends to be a dragon and will have the strength of a dragon, and she's not sure if she can't stop him. Then little Haejeon arrives and his mother gives him the necklace. She says that necklace has passed from generation to generation and he has to wear it always because it will protect him wherever he'll be. Aujasi and his mother were aware that he could awake the tiger. Then Haejeon asks who is that man who pretends to be a dragon, and Aujasi reveals that is his mother's enemy, Imugi. The chapter ends when Imugi chasing the snake from chapter 1. Imugi asks if he was the one who awoken the tiger, and where is he? Imugi is talking with Shutterwalk about a long time ago. The bear tribe and the tiger tribe fought for the rights of ruling this earth. But Imugi mentions that a part of the humankind doesn't know. He mentions that the person who led the war was the chief of the tiger tribe, the god of war from the East Sea. Imugi mentions that after the tigers lost the war, the tiger name disappeared completely. And Shutterwalk notices that the guy they are looking for, the tiger, is precisely this god of war from the East Sea. Imugi says yes, and that the Nocturne Devil sect were the ones who freed the tiger seal. Imugi says that if they awaken him is because they want to use him. That's why Imugi has to stop them. In a new scene, we see the tiger and Aujasi training Haejeon. Days and weeks go by while they train, until one day, Haejeon tries to concentrate to control his powers and he tries to leave his past behind, until suddenly, he starts to remember what he had forgotten and how his mother died. There is a man mentioned before that was the leader of the bear tribe. and a little Haejeon appears crying watching his home burn. In that moment Haejeon wakes up in immense power and try to attack the tiger and Aujasi. And Aujasi, seeing that he can absorb powers, he realizes that he has a secret technique, one that the bear's tribe leader has. Aujasi says that it is an ability that can absorb strangers or dead's powers and lets the bearer having them for his own. The tiger realizes that if this is Haejeon's case, then Haejeon is the only survivor of the bear tribe in that time. Finally, Haejeon manages to come back to normal after remembering his mother. Aujasi and the tiger are sleeping when suddenly two guys arrive and tries to kill them. We see Haejeon training near the house and two other guys wants to take him. Haejeon doubts, he doesn't know what to do, fight or escape. Now we see the tiger and Aujasi, and we see that the woman has the ability to regenerate and the other has a brute force. The tiger asks if they were subordinates working for the devil sect, and the woman says no, they are a group of assassins in charge of that person. In that moment the tiger realizes that this is a trap so they can kidnap Haejeon. We see Haejeon again and he is fighting against those guys, and just before they stab him he remembers Yonghu's ability that he absorbed. After concentrating he manages to use it, taking control of their bodies, turning the tides of the battle. The two guys surprised realizes why Imugi wants Haejeon's powers. Now we see the tigers and Aujasi's fight, and we see that the woman made a mistake thinking that the tiger was a stranger, so she used a combined attack. Now we see Haejeon and after a while fighting, his body gets tired and one of the guys takes advantage and chains him, leaving him immobile. The other guy does not agree with that because he wants to kill the boy, but Imugi wants him alive. We change scene again and we see that the tiger and Aujasi tries to aim to the woman's neck because even though she has the regeneration ability she still is a stranger, and she will die if they cut off her head. We can see the two guys again with Haejeon and they start to fight each other. One of them wants to keep the boy alive and after thinking that he won, he gets immobilized with a poison from the other guy. The other guy used the effect of the poison and he cuts his tendons so the guy can't move his arms and he takes Haejeon as prisoner. We see the tiger and Aujasi manages to kill both guys and they see that Haejeon is absorbing his powers. We see those two guys that are with Haejeon. The one with the poison on him was immune to the poison and releases a more powerful form. And he finishes with the other guy. But he was forgetting something. Killing the other guy makes Haejeon automatically absorbs his powers. Then although fight starts, Haejeon manages to defeat the other guy with a rain of blades and Haejeon burying a knife in him. And then the tiger and Aujasi arrives and they can't believe what they are seeing. In this scene we see the elf thinking about how Haejeon left him escape to protect his family. In that moment Imugi arrives and asks if he knows where Haejeon and the tiger were. The elf says that he doesn't know because he lost all trace due to his injuries. Imugi says that he will take his entire village, all the strangers. The elf transforms and tries to attack him. He wouldn't let anything happen to his family. Imugi says that is the problem. He is a stranger coming from another dimension, and he has no family. We see a flashback with the elf leading his village and it seems that he was someone loved by everyone. We even see that he has a partner, Mukwa. Further on we see that one day, the humans attacked and killed many in his village. The elf and his partner manages to flee and we can see them walking through the snow. We can see how his partner has got old fast. Just before she dies, she asks him to keep being a hero and protect their village. Now in the present the elf tries to attack Imugi with everything he's got. Imugi stops him and leaves him unconscious. Imugi asks him to be taken because he was useless. And Shutterwalk asks what they should do with the village. Imugi says burn it down. We see the fox with the infiltrated police agent in the White Flower Island. And confused, they think that Aujasi is the tiger. Aujasi discovers them, asks them who they are. In a new scene we see Huatao the scientist with the new test subject, the elf. And Huatao, aware about the failure by the assassin squad in White Island, asks Shutterwalk when the boy will be there. Shutterwalk, surprised by the fact that Huatao knows that information, says not to worry because Imugi has everything under control. We go back to the Wither Flowers Island and we see Aujasi trying to fight against the fox, saying that he tried to kill him the night before. The fox, confused, explains that it wasn't like that Aujasi only wants to fight. So the fox attacks and says that this isn't the moment to fight, that please listens to him. In that moment the tiger arrives and the fox realizes that he is the tiger and not Aujasi. Haejeon arrives as well and he thinks that the fox and the agent are from the devil sect. So the fox says that they are not and explains that a lot of strangers have disappeared these days, and the majority of these strangers were his friends. The fox explains that there are people trying to take over the world. He says that while they simulate an organized crime network, behind all this there is a stranger that acts as their leader, Imugi. We can see everyone reunited and reflecting about Imugi. The fox says that the only thing that keeps Imugi away from Haseon is the tiger. Haseon says that he will fight till the death. Ajasi says that he will not let that happen since he has been witness of Imugi's strength, and it is a huge strength. There, the tiger and the fox feel that something is coming. Some stranger beings break the house and they are accompanied with Shutterwalk and Imugi. Haseon is in shock because it is the first time that he sees Imugi, his mother's enemy. The fox realizes that all of those stranger beings like zombies are his friends. Haseon starts to fight against the zombies, but when he kills them, Haseon realizes that the absorption doesn't work. This is possible because Huatao had it all planned and none of the zombies are vulnerable to the absorption of our protagonist. Then Imugi sees an opportunity and brings the snake, the same snake we already saw before. The snake attacks Haseon and says that he will deliver Haseon to Imugi. But suddenly the snake dies and Haseon absorbs his powers. The problem is that when Haseon absorbs it, he is absorbing his poison as well and is killing him. Imugi asks Shutterwalk to bring Haseon. In that moment we see the fox watching his fallen friends, apologizing with one of them for not being able to save him. But Ajasi asks everyone to gather to save Haseon. Shutterwalk rushed to fight the fox, and the angry fox hits her and he is seeking revenge. In that moment Ajasi takes advantage and grabs Haseon, getting out of there. The fox continues fighting against Shutterwalk and sees how Shutterwalk transforms and she starts to attack rampantly. The fox has no choice but to transform. After fighting for a bit against Shutterwalk, Imugi gets behind him. And the fox realizes that he didn't know Imugi anymore. He led us since 500 years ago, he says. Imugi says that he is looking for power in this world, since without this world, they would just be fairy tales. What's the meaning of respecting the humans? The fox, angry with that kind of philosophy, says that he can't imagine how many friends he lost this year, and he starts to fight Imugi. The fox says that even if he dies today, he will avenge his friends. The fox can't attack Imugi, neither can maintain his transformation. That's because Imugi says that he controls the wind and rain, so fire wouldn't affect him, and so Shutterwalk hits him with a raging kick. And just when Imugi was about to finish him, Ajasi arrives and tries to take Imugi by surprise. He can't and Imugi hits him hard. Imugi says that he must have been hidden because now he would send him next to that shaman bitch. In that moment the tiger arrives and wants to attack Imugi, but Shutterwalk intercepts him and says that he must have to go through her first. The tiger fights her and he ends up winning. The tiger rushes towards Imugi and Imugi says if he remembers him. The tiger, confused, says no, and Imugi says that he was the bear's tribe bodyguard. And the tiger remembers. Imugi says that the tiger were stronger in that time, but now they will see if he is still the same. We see Imugi transformed and fighting the tiger. After an intense fight where Imugi thinks that he has beaten the tiger strikes back with everything he has, leaving Imugi in a bad shape. So Imugi out of nowhere transforms and get another eye in his face. The tiger asks to himself if Imugi could be an Axon. We see a flashback with Ajasi and Haseon's mother. Haseon's mother explains that Imugi will become an Axon inevitably. Haseon's mother explained that an Axon is an evil spirit, filled with evil energy. We go back to the present and Ajasi tell the tiger to get out of there. The tiger refuses and decides to fight against Imugi anyways. Imugi immobilizes the tiger, but the tiger gets loose. But when trying to attack Imugi, he reads every movement and Imugi leaves him immobilized again. Ajasi sees that the fox is okay, but the fox sees Imugi and he gets absolutely astonished. Imugi, while he has the tiger immobilized, charges an attack against him. The tiger can't evade it because he can only see thought one eye and he lost the sense of perspective. The tiger receives the hit and says that he has lost too much blood and he has no strength. Imugi starts to charge another attack to finish him. And Ajasi strats to close everything with totems and tell the tiger to go ways fast, to leave with Haseon. Ajasi says that he can't take it anymore. He can't see anybody else die in front of him. And suddenly Haseon appears behind Imugi and he is trying to attack him. Ajasi and the tiger watches this, completely scared about what Haseon is doing. The tiger gets up. And that's how the anime ends.